Today's reading is your statement of purpose. This church is dedicated to a religion, but not to a creed. It is a liberal religious community of free individuals of all ages, walking together in relationship with one another, to the larger community, and to the transcending mystery of the universe. Our community is based on open communication, a democratic process, and the belief in the capacity for goodness in all people. Our spiritual health and our growth as a church community is intimately connected with the spiritual growth and development of our children. We pledge to develop our church community with this always in mind. This church aims at celebrating and cultivating the community, a sense of inquiry, moral character and insight, religious freedom, and a helpfulness to humanity. That is, it aims at liberating and cultivating the human spirit. Our goal of this congregation is aimed at celebrating and cultivating a community, and its aim is to liberate and cultivate the human spirit. That's our... You know, I have struggled all week to write this sermon. Probably the most difficult time I've ever given myself to write a sermon. And finally, late Friday afternoon, I realized something. I figured out why I was having such a problem writing a sermon, and the problem really was I didn't want to preach to you. I wanted to talk to you. I just wanted to talk to you, and every week I'm given the opportunity to preach to you, and I just wanted to say what I wanted to say. I did not want to take a whole bunch of other people's words and try to make some sense out of them and give you some fantastic idea to chew on. I wanted to use your words, the words you covenant to, the words that are on your documents, your statement of purpose. I wanted to remind you what we are doing here. I wanted to say that, what does it really mean when we say we pledge to walk together? And I wanted to tell you how much I admire you. I do. I admire you. I wanted to tell you how impressed I am by you, by the hard work. You've done a lot. You've accomplished a lot, and here we are at this moment in time. You've made some really excellent decisions along the way. Really good. In 12 and a half years, you have faced a lot of pretty big challenges. And you're still here. From the very beginning of this congregation, from the first idea of it, it has been an emotional journey. That's tough. And just as you're hitting your stride, you had to switch ministers. And then the economy hits Michigan harder than any other state. But what did you do? You regrouped and you bounced back. And yes, there have been missteps. I'm not a Pollyanna, I know that. That's normal. Hopefully we're going to learn from the mistakes and we're not going to make them again. And I'll tell you something. Mistakes humble you. And that is a good thing. But today, we are in a really good place. We're in a really good place. You tremendous momentum during your search process looking for a minister, that energy just exploded out of you my first year with you. It was quite a year. There were so many great accomplishments. I was proud to be part of that energy, and I am thrilled to be walking my journey with you together. And this year is a beginning, and I see glimmers. I start to see that we're turning a new corner. Ever so closely turning a corner for financial stability. That's not a small thing. I hope you see the keyboard as our mile marker on our journey of walking together. Take it as a symbol of a mile marker of that first turn towards financial stability. Years ago when this church was first beginning, Vicki or Dan, somebody got a computer going and it played the hymns, and that was your music department. That was essentially it, a computer. Basic, practical, affordable, completely limited. But you wrote a strategic plan. First goal, focus on church growth by paying particular attention to the music department and to children's religious education. Good decision. Brilliant decision. Probably one of your best decisions. Now, I have lived in the Boston area for 20-some years. I have been to over 30 or more Unitarian Universalist churches. There is not one of those churches that even come close to this size music department or the caliber of music or the number of musicians. None for this size church. And in fact, churches twice their size, don't even compare to what we have here. This is rare. This is precious. You guys did this. Don't ever underestimate how great it is. It's phenomenal. The last strategic plan brought you up to a certain level. It's time to ratchet things up to the next level. The keyboard is a symbolic look into our future. That's where we are now, and we're going above it. Our religious education also shows tangible growth. I arrived here, 28 kids were enrolled. Last year, 35 children were enrolled. Last month, Carla reported 45 children enrolled. Huge! Your second goal on your strategic plan was to hire staff and call a minister. Check, check, check. Done. Good decision. Third goal listed on your prior strategic plan were your finances and facility. Going forward, our new strategic plan that we're presenting today, draft, is going to carry our finances over to the new strategic plan. We have to. We're not there yet. It has to be part of it. It should always be part of the strategic plan. We're going to ratchet it up on all levels to stabilize all aspects of money. There's a primary goal in that to move this minister or ministry from a 3/4 time to full time. Another very good decision. Yes, I fully support this. I'm no fool. But there's something more important I have to say to you. It's time. It's time in your growth as a congregation to get to that level. It's a tangible mile marker in your road ahead. And you are much closer to that mile marker than you realize. Much closer. And the final part of that last strategic plan was your facility or building. A topic I have never talked about in front of you since the day I first spoke to the search committee. I have stayed clear of that topic. My greatest fear in accepting the call to this congregation was only one. My greatest number one fear would be that you would make the most common mistake a young congregation makes consistently when they call a new minister. Churches call a new minister, and in the excitement of calling a new minister, they immediately take all of their energy and focus it on buying a building. A very unwise decision. Because when a congregation fails to settle a new minister fully and completely, they shift all of their energy towards a building, and the ministry becomes secondary. It has to. It has to. Ministry is about the people. Ministry is about the people, and the building, guess what, is about the building. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. Invest in the people, then the location. Ministry is what makes a church, not ever the building. Most congregations, particularly UU congregations in Massachusetts, value their building over everything else, and the people are leaving the pews in droves. Do you notice people are coming here? We're in the right direction. The other truth about a building is that it drains huge amounts of resources, both people and money, and we simply don't have that. We're simply not ready to make that kind of time, commitment, and energy. We're not there. The discussion regarding the building, the location, whatever you want to say, how you want to, semantics, is on the next strategic plan. But right now we have plenty to do on our plate. So Mary, let's do it. Let's show them the strategic plan.
All right.